Right then it's pre-season time, and Celtic are off the mark with a win, lifting the inaugural Cork Super Cup after a toon result against Cork City. It might not be the most prestigious trophy out there, but it's a win. And for a side looking to build momentum before the competitive stuff kicks off, it absolutely matters. It was the first piece of what some are jokingly calling a pre-season treble. But jokes aside, there's a lot to unpack from the match and the general vibe surrounding the team right now. We're not just talking about goals and lineups either. Post-match comments from Brendan Rodgers' player performances and even injuries are shaping this summer in a way that's both exciting and frustrating, depending on your point of view. But let's start with the match itself, shall we? Celtic lined up with Vasilis Barkas. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Benji Siegrist was unavailable, so Vanala was between the sticks. A back four featuring Kobe Donovan, who ended up nicking the winner. Dane Murray and Austin Trusty in the center, with new boy Hayato Inamura making his debut at left back. Midfield had a solid look to it. Callum McGregor, Luke McCowan, and Ari Engels providing that mix of experience, youth, and technical control. On the wings, it was James Forrest on the right. He's still kicking. And Ben Summers on the left. Johnny Kenny led the line up front. Now, let's be honest, first half wasn't exactly vintage Celtic, but there were encouraging signs. The tempo was a bit stop-start, as you'd expect this early in preseason. There were overhit passes, some rust, and a pitch that clearly wasn't doing anyone any favors. The ball would stick to the grass 1 minute, then zip away the next. That inconsistency made it tough to build rhythm, but despite that, Celtic had control for large spells. Hayato Inamura caught the eye early on. Yes, he was playing out of position technically, more known for his role as centre-back back in Japan. But you wouldn't have known it. He looked tidy assured on the ball and slotted into the system like he's been here for ages. Brendan Rodgers has since said he's been surprised by how comfortable the lad is, and it's hard to disagree. Every time he got the ball, it was forward thinking. No sideways dawdling or nerves, just get it and move it on. Quick, sharp one-touch passes into Engels McCowan or McGregor, exactly what you want from a modern defender. He even had one lovely ball whipped across the face of goal that just needed a touch to go in. His link-up with Summers, who he likely won't play with regularly, was decent as well. There was one big moment where he bailed out Trusty after a bit. Of a shambles letting the ball run out, Inamura was right there, cool under pressure, just bought a few seconds for the defense to reset. He also took a proper knock after a header challenge and got right back up. That tells you a lot about his mentality. Brendan Rodgers had planned to use him just to get a look during the preseason, possibly send him out on loan, but now he's sounding like he's got a real chance to stick around. With limited defensive options and Rodgers stressing how composed he is, it might be Inamura who fills that gap instead of another loan signing. Luke McCowan, who's been getting more and more minutes, got on the score sheet with a cracker of a finish. Calm, clinical, and exactly what you want to see from a lad trying to push into the regular squad. He's one who could be very handy this season, especially if injuries crop up or rotation is needed during the busier stretches. Summers looked decent as well. He was lively on the left, and even though he's not really seen much time in that role, he held his own. There was a clever flick through the forest that nearly resulted in a goal, and overall he looked hungry. That said, it does feel like his moment might have passed him by a couple years ago. Might have been the time to break through, but at least he's still giving it everything. The second half, as often happens in these friendlies, saw a much changed team. No graphics, no program, notes, just a lot of young faces and names that'll need a few more runouts before becoming familiar. Ross Doohan came in goal. The back four had Ben McPherson on the right, Stephen Welsh, who wore the armband, and H. Mitchell Robertson at centre-back, and Adam Montgomery at left-back. In midfield, it was Sean Mardell, Kyle Ure, and Francis Turley, with Turley pushing higher up. Up top, Callum Osman made his debut, flanked by Thomas Hatton and Mitchell Frame. It was more chaotic, less structured, but that's to be expected. Rodgers said they didn't keep the ball nearly as well, but also stressed how important it was that they still found a way to win. That says something about character, even if the football wasn't exactly silky. Hatton started to grow into it late on, showed some nice feet, got more involved, and made a few things happen. Ure was another who impressed. He's got a sweet left peg on him, played a couple of sharp passes through the lines, and looks like someone who might just be on the fringe of getting a look in the senior squad this year. Whether it's domestic cup games or the odd league start if Callum McGregor's rested, Ure could be the kind of player who steps up. He's still only 19, but the signs are there. Callum Osman showed glimpses too. Nothing spectacular, but he was getting into the right spots, making the right runs. You can tell he's still raw, still figuring out the tempo of the game, but there's something there. You'd want to see more over the next couple of games, but he didn't look out of place. Stephen Welsh, though, had a night to forget. 2 mix-ups with Ross Doohan. The first one leading to the Cork City goal, and the second resulting in a nasty shoulder injury that forced him off. Rogers later confirmed surgery might be on the cards, and if that's the case, we could be looking at a 6-month spell out, if not longer, depending on the damage. For a player who seemed on the verge of leaving the club, possibly getting a fresh start elsewhere, it's a devastating blow. He's always come across as a top professional, passionate about the club, but timing is everything in football, and this could change his entire season. Another name missing from the squad was Jude Bonner, and the reason became clear. He's off on loan to Scott Brown's side for the season. Makes sense, he needs minutes, and going out to play regular football will do him good. Hopefully he comes back ready to challenge properly. The bigger picture, though, is Celtic reconnecting with their global support. Playing in Cork might not seem like a big deal to everyone, but for fans in Ireland, it's huge. The same way supporters in Australia lit up when the Hoops came to Sydney not that long ago. It brings people together, CSCs from different cities, fans who might never get the chance to go to Celtic Park. And that kind of connection means everything. You meet fellow fans, share stories, and for 90 minutes, it feels like you're at paradise, even if you're thousands of miles away. And now eyes are already shifting to Portugal. The team didn't even return to Glasgow, straight from Cork to Lisbon, where they'll continue pre-season with a match behind closed doors against Estrela da Amadora. It's at Benfica's training base, and more importantly, we're going to start seeing some of the big guns return. Kieran Tierney's back. Brendan Rodgers has confirmed they're going to manage his return carefully because of his injury history, but just seeing him in training again has got fans buzzing. Seeing him on the pitch will be another moment to savor. There's also excitement building around Benjamin Negron. Rodgers has said he's looked sharp forward-thinking and brings energy to the pitch. He's someone to watch in these upcoming games. Meanwhile, Rio Hatade is fully fit and training hard. Rodgers said there's been no issues with his knee, and he looks strong, which is brilliant news, considering how important he is in midfield. Cameron Carter-Vickers is also stepping up. His recovery could be back in time for the Newcastle match in a little over a week. All signs pointing toward a squad that's getting stronger just in time. From now on, the matches start to get more serious. Sporting Lisbon, Newcastle, Ajax. All proper tests that will show exactly where this squad stands ahead of the new season. So with the squad now touching down in Portugal, the mood's shifting. And there's that sense that the proper part of preseason is kicking in. The games start meaning a wee bit more. The competition stiffens up, and for Brendan Rodgers, it's all about shaping a side that can hit the ground running when the real stuff kicks off. Saturday's match against Estrela da Amadora, though, behind closed doors, might be the first time we get a real glimpse of what the gaffer considers close to his strongest 11, or at least what it looks like at this stage. The structure's starting to return. You've got big names rejoining the group, some of the internationals filtering back in. Kieran Tierney's presence alone changes the dynamic. He's not just a player, he's a statement. When he steps onto the pitch again in green and white, there'll be an emotional lift, not just among the squad, but across the support. Rodgers has already made clear that managing his minutes is a priority, and that makes total sense. The last thing anyone wants is to rush him back and risk another setback. But he looks happy, looks sharp, and more importantly, looks like he wants to be here. There's a bit of magic in that, especially considering everything he's been through, with injuries the last couple of years. Benjamin Negron's name keeps coming up as well. Rodgers has been full of praise, talking up his engine, his ability to press his movement, and how well he's integrated. He's still young, still settling, but if he's even half as sharp in games as he's looked in training, there's plenty of reason to be excited. Celtic have lacked that kind of athletic, direct midfielder recently, someone who can cover ground. Link defense to attack and play without fear. He might not be a guaranteed starter right away, but if he can find consistency, he could become one of those players who sneaks up on everyone and ends up being vital. One name that's still missing from group sessions is Alistair Johnston. Still not back in full training, and by the sounds of it, he won't be involved on Saturday either. Same goes for Lewis Palmer. Both expected to join the squad in Portugal, but the focus is on fitness first, match sharpness later. That's been Rodgers' approach from day one. No point throwing players in cold just to get them minutes. With 3 more matches after Estrella against Sporting, Newcastle and Ajax, there's still time to get everyone up to speed. The goal now is steady progress. You want to see the team grow with each match. Faster transitions, cleaner passing, more cohesion. The shape will matter too. How does Rodgers set them up? Will we see a return to the classic 40-2-3-1? Does he experiment with a 3 at the back if Tierney's fully fit and ready to slot in? The answers will come, but these are the matches that give us hints. Saturday isn't just about fitness anymore. It's about football and identity. One key figure in all of this is Cameron Carter-Vickers. Celtic's defensive record with him and the team last season was rock solid, and without him, things started to unravel. Rodgers said he's close, so he could be ready for the Newcastle game. And that's massive. Getting him a couple of matches before the league opener is crucial. He brings calm leadership and just a proper presence at the back. If he's paired with someone consistent, whether that's no Rocky Scales or even Trusty stepping up, Celtic's defense starts to look a whole lot more secure. Paul Bernardo's return is another that fans are watching closely. He was a bit of a slow burner last season, but by the end he was putting in solid shifts and showing why he was brought in. Not quite the finished article, but enough flashes to suggest there's something to work with. It'll be interesting to see how Rodgers uses him now, especially with the midfield looking pretty stacked. The competition for places is fierce. McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly, Home, now Negron, and that's before you consider any new signings still to come. Speaking of signings, the market's still bubbling away in the background. Rodgers has said, things are progressing, but it's been quiet on the incoming front over the last few days. That's not to say there's no movement. Celtic do like to keep their business tight. But for supporters eager for more additions, the wait continues. There's still time, of course. The window doesn't slam shut tomorrow. But with the Champions League qualifiers and domestic kickoff looming, the sooner new faces arrive, the better. And while there's been lots of talk about who's coming in, it's worth noting who's gone. Gustav Lagerbilke has officially left the club, joining Brand on a permanent deal. Reports suggest the fees around £2 million potentially, rising with bonuses, and Celtic have included a 10% sell-in clause. Fair play. It didn't work out for the lad, but he always carried himself well. No sulking, no drama, just one of those signings that never quite clicked. He even left a classy farewell message on social media thanking the club, his teammates, and the fans. Sometimes things just don't pan out, and that's all right. Football moves fast. Back on the pitch, the bigger tests are coming. Sporting Lisbon will be a real barometer, a Champions League team, proper technical quality, and the kind of opposition that exposes any weaknesses. That's followed by Newcastle United, again Champions League caliber, and then Ajax. By the time those matches are done, Celtic will know exactly where they stand heading into the domestic season. The preseason is also serving another purpose: unity. You see it in the training sessions, in the little moments between players, in the way Rodgers talks about the group. There's a togetherness that's quietly building. You saw it when they were in Ireland. The welcome, the support, the atmosphere. It felt like something real, something genuine. These trips matter. Not just for match sharpness, but for team spirit, bringing everyone together, reminding players what this club means to so many. Scott spoke about this from an Aussie perspective. How? When the team came to Sydney a while back, it wasn't just about the football, it was about meeting the wider Celtic family. People flew in from Perth, from New Zealand, from all over Southeast Asia. Celtic supporters, clubs, uniting new friendships, forming, and the sense that the Hoops aren't just a Scottish institution. They're global. That's why these games, even the behind closed doors ones, have weight. They shape the narrative of the season. They build relationships, and they keep that Celtic heartbeat strong across borders. You've got lads like Inamura getting their first taste, showing they belong. You've got young players like Hatton and Ure trying to prove they're more than just B-team options. And then there's the returning stars, Tierney, Hatate, Carter-Vickers, bringing that top-level quality back into the fold. It's all starting to come together. There's still work to be done, of course. You want to see a proper left-back, signed even if Inamura proves capable. You'd want another centre-half if Welsh's injury is as serious as feared. You'd want maybe a bit more firepower up top, someone who can challenge Kyogo or step in without a huge drop-off. And yeah, The midfield's deep, but adding real top-end quality never hurts. But for now, what's clear is the squad's trending in the right direction. The players are buying in. The training intensity is there. Rodgers looks comfortable, calm, and focused. The message is getting through. There's no panic, just steady, calculated progress. The upcoming matches in Portugal will tell us more about individuals, about the team's shape, about how ready this side is to compete at the highest level. The league campaign isn't far away now, and with the champions. League group stages on the horizon. There's no time for hesitation. But for the moment, things feel good. The blend of youth and experience, the return of some favorites, the emergence of new names. It's all part of the process. It's not just about winning friendlies. It's about building a team. One that can defend the title, make a splash in Europe, and play the kind of football that gets fans off their seats. We've still got a few more weeks before it all properly kicks off, but you can sense it now. The gears are shifting, the energy's returning, Celtic are warming up, and once they hit full stride, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's a buzz starting to build in the east end of Glasgow. Whispers in the wind, if you will. Word is Kieran Bowie could be on Celtic's radar, and Parkhead might just be his next destination. Nothing confirmed, mind, but those close to the scene say the Hoops have been quietly keeping tabs on the young Scottish forward, and for good reason. At just 21, Bowie's been making noise south of the border with Fulham, where he's developed into a versatile and relentless attacker. On loan at Northampton Town last season, he showed flashes of brilliance. Not just the goals and assists, but the kind of graft and guile that Celtic fans adore. Now, with his contract situation evolving and opportunities at Craven Cottage unclear, murmurs are that Celtic see an opening. Brendan Rodgers, never one to shy away from giving youth a chance, is rumored to be keen on refreshing his attacking options, especially with speculation surrounding some of the current frontmen. Could Bowie be the next project? Or even the next breakout star? Some in the Celtic faithful are already debating, is Bowie a raw gem to be polished at Lennoxtown, or is he ready-made, ready to step into the pressure cooker of paradise and thrive? He's got the pace, the pressing instinct, and the work rate. More importantly, he's got that hunger, the kind you can't coach. There's also the romance of it, a Scottish lad pulling on the green and white hoops, rising through the ranks and making his mark on the European stage. It's the sort of story that writes itself. And with the Champions League always on the horizon, depth and dynamism up front are more than welcome. It's early doors yet, and for now, all we've got are whispers and sidelong glances. But one thing's for sure, if Kieran Bowie does make the leap to Celtic Park, the eyes of Scotland, perhaps beyond, will be watching closely. Hello fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.